Hello, mindful friends. Today we're going to be talking about those shifts and changes in our lives that start to shift and alter our perspective about ourselves, our place in the world, and what we're doing on an everyday basis, and how they can actually get into changing our beliefs around what our life should look like, what we should be doing, and how we should be participating in life. We all have those moments where big change happens in our lives. It might be change that's really good. Maybe we get a new job or a new opportunity. Maybe we're moving somewhere new to create change. They can also be things that at first may seem negative. So they can be a new illness or an injury. They could be a loss of a job. It could be a shift in somebody or something within our family or our loved ones, and how when these drastic things happen in our lives, they immediately start to change everything about our routine, about how we relate to ourselves, about what we can do on a daily basis. Maybe what we can do with our bodies or what we're doing with our time, down to how we are making our income and how we are surviving. Our kind of basic belief around what creates the stability in our life and what creates our normal is all of a sudden shifting and changing. And how at first this can be really scary, right? That these shifts and change come in, and even if they're good, there can be some doubt and fear around, am I going to be able to adapt to this positively? What is this going to look like as I shift and change? And no doubt there will be loss of what am I losing from that old life routine that I was in, that kind of old situation I got used to. So we're shifting through all of these emotions as these shifts are happening in our lives, and it can create this kind of internal chaos and almost bewilderment of like, I don't know what's next anymore. I don't know what my daily life looks like anymore. And all the way down to maybe it shifted how I see my reality and the beliefs that I have about my reality. So if we kind of enter into these changes and we are trying really hard to cling to our old ideas about what life should look like, your role in it, the routine that you live every day through it, even, it can be down to sometimes spiritual beliefs and what this means about your spiritual life and your engagement in it. If we're clinging to how we saw things before this big shift happened, then it fills us with a lot of fear and dread for moving forward, because we can't see how we can maintain that old routine and those old beliefs in this new reality. And so we get scared and we have doubts, and we can become frustrated based on what we're losing and that we can't maintain the same lifestyle as before or the same habits as before. So in order to kind of move into these changes in a positive way, sometimes it requires opening up and letting go of our past beliefs and our past ideas of what life should look like, or in the case of the body, what health should look like, what healing should look like. If it's the case of the family and maybe loss in the family or sickness in the family, being willing to let go of the image of ideal family or what it looks like to have a healthy family, or your idea of how that structure should appear in your life. And letting go of this is challenging because those ideas of what it should look like gives us that semblance of stability, of knowing, of certainty, and certainly of control. Because if it stays the way that we always had it and it stays the way we think it should be, we feel like we are in control of that situation and we are safe there and we know what to expect and we know how to kind of play out our role within that. So letting go of those does pose a big challenge, but we have to keep in mind what letting go of them does for us through these moments of change. So we observe first, what is it doing to us to cling on to them? So if we're clinging on to these old ideas of what things should have looked like or how they should have been, as they are changing and no longer being that way, what does it do to you? And typically what we'll find is that it leaves us stressed out, it leaves us fighting, it leaves us frustrated. Maybe we're really struggling trying to keep things the same, and it creates this push and pull with reality of like, oh, well, this is my reality, but this is what I want it to be. So we're divided and we're not really present with what's happening in our lives and the changes that are occurring in our lives. So observe this in yourself and notice, is this a good feeling? And is this helping you to relate to this change in your life in a positive way? And as we observe that and we start noticing, maybe it's not so positive, and in fact, it kind of leaves me feeling not very good about this, it very naturally kind of helps us to let go of that clinging to those old ideas. And then it frees us up to start opening our mind space into what Pema Chodron kind of called the groundless state, which to us may seem like super daunting and super scary, where you're losing all your footholds and all your handholds of what you thought was normal, what you thought was going to keep you safe, what you thought was how you needed things to be. But in that groundless state is this opportunity to begin anew. It's this amazing gift to you to start shifting. And every time that this happens in your life, you open a little bit more and a little bit more to new possibility, to new shifts, transformation, and growth. So when we can kind of shift into this new perspective and say, okay, as I let go of clinging on to what I think should be, and whatever that is, in your health, in what your work life looks like, in what your income looks like, in what your housing looks like, if I can let go of that idea and I can move into this new situation with my intentions of, what do I want to experience here? What do I want to experience anywhere I go with anything that manifests? I want to experience cultivating peace in my life, love, compassion. I want to feel growth. I want to learn. Can you do that here? The answer is yes, always. Even when things shift and change, even in loss, even in kind of those moments where you feel like everything's fallen away, you can still grow and shift and learn and develop that love and peace within you. And in fact, sometimes it increases your ability to do that because you have to now learn how to cultivate those things in a new reality, in a new environment. And you say, I can do this here too. And what does it look like to do this here? And what we find when we shift into this is that typically life is progressing us forward more and more towards who we really are and how we can serve best in this world. So even in deep loss and when things aren't looking very great, if we take the perspective of what can come from this, how can I be my true self here too, it actually pushes us deeper into our growth. And when you move into that new perspective or that new situation, you can do so in integrity and in who you really are. And you can allow your true self to manifest through that experience. And you start to notice, how am I showing up here? And maybe in the kind of changes of lifestyle this brought on, it brings out new sides of myself or new truths within me, or helped me to shift my perspective in a way that actually helps me serve better, that actually built my practice stronger, that actually gave me new insights that will help me to show up for others in a more meaningful way. And in this way, we do what Viktor Frankl said of those who live with a strong why can survive almost any how. So what he means is, if you find meaning in life and if you live your purpose and you can find that anywhere, then you can almost find the good in any situation that you find yourself in. So I invite you this week to look into those changes in your life that are kind of pushing you towards new perspectives, pushing you towards change. And instead of getting stuck in resistance, see if you can shift your perspective towards possibility and growth, and notice what that does to your well-being and your ability to show up for the world. If you enjoy these little talks and would like to join us for a group session or individual coaching, please visit us at newleafmindfulness.com. And don't forget to like and share. I hope to see you all very soon.